Thor and Spider-Man become Hulks, forgetting who they once were. Can they put their differences aside to save the world from an onslaught of Hulks? At the National Mall in Washington, D.C., Thor watches a massive object crash into the earth. Thor is more buff than he's ever looked before, completely covered in cackling electricity. He walks to the edge of the crater left by the falling object. Get up, Spider Thing. Just like Thor, Spidey looks better than ever. No, want to sleep. Up early today. Need rest. You cannot rest now. Thor will smash lazy Spider. No, I come. Was being funny. Not as easy as it used to be. It is harder to be witty when you've been transformed into a Hulk. That's just what happened to Thor and Spidey, as well as a dozen other heroes, just moments before. Thor looks over his shoulder. It's more than just heroes that became Hulkified. Red Hulk runs rampant, tearing apart the city. Save everything from things like us. As Thor proclaims himself the strongest Hulk out there, Spider-Man recognizes the Smithsonian. It's hard to remember while in Hulk form, but a few memories flash of Uncle Ben taking him there as a kid. Uncle Ben couldn't normally afford trips like this, but young Peter's excellence in school won him a trip. I remember the first time I went. Of course, the dinosaurs had flesh on their bones back then. Uncle Ben, I don't know about anything else, but that joke should be in the Smithsonian. We're proud as hell you got yourself there. As Spidey is lost in his memories, Thor looks toward the battlefield. Thor must bring peace. Stop smashing by smashing. We'll let you help. As Thor rants about his might, Spider-Man tears down the Smithsonian's front door and walks in. But Thor isn't bothered. He points his mighty hammer toward his enemies and charges in a flash of lightning. Thor is easily overwhelmed by the evil Hulks. 5 Red Hulks grab him, wrestle him to the ground, and begin to beat him. Thor shouts for help. Spider Thing! But it doesn't matter. These Hulks might match Thor's strength, but he has one title they don't. God of Thunder. He blasts them off with a vicious bolt of lightning, leaving them defeated. He walks over their bodies to confront Spidey. Thor do everything himself. Thor looks throughout the museum for his Hulkish friend, following the trail of webbing. He eventually finds Spider-Man next to a dinosaur display, his dull eyes inches from the display caption. What you doing? Reading. What it say? Don't know. That why I reading. Find out. Spidey's clearly having a tough time. It's time to smash. But reading. As Spider-Man reaches back in his memory, Thor finds a few memories of his own coming through. Centuries ago, Odin ordered Thor to include Loki when they played battle. Thor doesn't care for his adopted brother, thinking him strange. Odin rises, lifting his mighty hammer, Mjolnir. One day, you must be worthy of this hammer, of this throne. It is matters like this which you will prove yourself so. Back in the present, the hulked out Thor shakes his head free of memories. You no stay here, Spider Thing. Must fight. But Spider-Man's only interest lies in these ancient bones. In this state, with gamma radiation taking over their brains, they revert to their base instincts. Thor is a warrior who wants to fight. Spidey is a nerd who wants to learn. But Thor's had enough. He raises his hammer. Do you hear me, little spider? Or would you have Thor start his smashing here? Even with Thor in his face, Spidey can only think back to his childhood. Young Peter meets a girl on that museum trip, one who's into dinosaurs. The perfect combination. A bully appears, mocking the girl for being into paleontology. Peter stands up for her. The bully reacts by smashing his face into the display caption, the same one Spider Thing is struggling to read. Let me help you read up. Well done, Parker. You've outdone yourself. You found a way to be bullied at a gathering of geeks. Spidey's mind returns to the present. He tells Thor he just wants to be left alone and read. Puny Thor go and play his macho games. Bet you no even remember why you fighting. Thor snarls behind him, thinking about when this very same thing happened to him and Loki. He thinks back to when he invited Loki to play battle, but in the middle of the game, he ditched Thor. He left the field, saying he had no interest in being here, at least not when he had some reading to attend to. In the present, Thor threatens Spidey. If Spider Thing does not come and help save the day, Thor will smash all of this, so you have no thing to read or old bones to look at. Come! Spidey stands tall. No. Thor turns to smash an exhibit with his hammer, but Spider-Man quickly webs Mjolnir to his hand. Thor should read words. Says no smash. Spidey clocks Thor in the face, knocking him to the floor. Thor leaps at Spidey, but he's met with even more webbing. sticking himself to the wall. Well, says no touch, but smashing is very bad touching. Thor gets even angrier, and you wouldn't like Thor when he's angry. You think you clever? You think you sneaky? You know clever. Thor fills his body with lightning, zapping the web right off of him. In the blast, Spider-Man falls to the ground. Stunned, Thor leaps through the air, cocking a finishing blow with his mighty Mjolnir. Thor will teach little Spider a lesson he cannot read. In the millisecond while Thor's hammer comes flying toward his skull, Spidey once again thinks back to his childhood museum trip. The bully, twice his size, smashes his face over and over into the display caption. But the witty Peter Parker can't stop trash talking. Picking a fight with someone whose lunch packs more weight than you? No way. If you're so smart, Parker, how come you keep on doing dumb things like this? Back in the present, Thor decided against smashing his old friend's head with his hammer, but the two are officially in an all-out brawl. Thor launches Spidey across the room, but just like as a kid, Peter can't stop the trash talk. Have you had enough? Or you want more? Thor throws his hammer into Spidey's chest, sending him through a wall. You like old things so much? Take Milo, Mjolnir, Melon, Odin's hammer. Now Thor's. It's very old. A battered Spidey stands to his feet, but Thor knocks him down with another devastating blow. Thor thinks back to his youth, when he had to teach Loki the same lesson. Don't mess with Thor. He took his adopted brother and launched him through a window, splashing into a puddle of mud. Thor knows. You get taught lesson, little Spider-Worm. In words Thor speaks best. See if you learn. Thor grabs Spidey's arms as he lies face down, pushing his head into the dirt. Say Thor strongest. Thor smells strongest. Thor bashes the wisecracking Spider-Hulk's face into the ground. Thor lifts it, giving him another chance to admit he's the strongest. Is Thor flirting with Spider-Man? Not like you that way. Thor bashes his face again. Spidey's face is oozing blood through the mask. Finally, he relents. Thor, strongest. Thor stands, done with this petty distraction and ready to get back into the fight. Meanwhile, the evil Red Hulks begin to swarm the building, following the destruction Thor and Spidey caused. One of the Hulks recognizes this place. This is the Smithsonian, which is the premium blah blah blah. Boring place? Hate boring place. Smash! Elsewhere, Thor raises his hammer, but soon realizes it's getting heavier and heavier. Huh? Stupid hammer stuck! As Thor becomes hulkier and hulkier, he ceases to be worthy. Know what Spider-Man think? Thor's hammer is Floor's hammer now. Just then, his Spidey Hulk sense goes off. He turns and sees displays being destroyed. No! Spidey runs toward the commotion, where he sees a Red Hulk smashing the museum. Spidey sprints over and decks him in the jaw. No hurt, Diplodocus! Spidey stands above the fallen Red Hulk. Understand? Happy to repeat self. But suddenly, Spidey looks up. He was so concerned with the rampaging Red Hulk that he neglected to notice something. A dozen more standing around him. More of you than I can count, which is a high number. Like 7 or 8. Spidey takes a breath, lowering his head as if in defeat. Am genius, you know, just not good at applying it. But like always, he kicks into action. At least, never know when to quit. As he battles the swarm of Red Hulks, Spidey thinks back to one of the many lessons Uncle Ben taught him. He came home from that trip to the Smithsonian complaining about the bullies. It's not that people can be so mean that bothers me, it's that I let them. You can't always be the strongest, but you have to be the strongest where it counts. And you've got plenty there, kid. Back in the present, Spidey's overwhelmed. He's surrounded by the Red Hulks, who are dragging him to the ground. But inspired by Ben's memory, he fights on. Meanwhile, Thor is screaming in agony and rage as he tries to lift his hammer. Thor's hammer! Thor's! Do not deny Thor, stupid hammer! Thor is god of thunder! Thor is son of Odin! Thor is... That name, Odin, triggers another memory. He's a child at Odin's throne, being scolded for attacking his brother. If you let a quarrel with your brother debase you, how will you act in a quarrel with a real enemy? You would be a brute, an unworthy brute. And just like Uncle Ben, Odin's memory teaches Thor a lesson. Consider this. Would you rather be strong or wise, Thor? Is it better to be wise? And to be wise, you choose to be both. Back in the present, Thor falls to his knees. He's not acting like the Prince of Asgard, the god of thunder. he's not acting worthy. Sorry, Father. Thor forgot. Thor will remember. Instead of focusing on his strength, he focuses on wisdom. Thor bends down and easily lifts that hammer once more. Meanwhile, Spider-Hulk is getting walloped by the swarm of Red Hulks, but they're interrupted by the proven worthy God of Thunder. Leave Spider-Thing alone and leave here. No place for bullies. Thor takes on the swarm by himself, easily handling his less mighty opponents. Stay down, Spider-Thing. Okay, Thor, but make everything stay down. Think we'll need it. Spidey begins covering the museum's displays in a protective coat of webbing as Thor prepares a final move, a lightning-fueled punch that sends the Red Hulks flying out of the building. In the rubble, Spider-Man admits what Thor just proved overwhelmingly obvious. You are strongest one there is. Spidey pats the web-coated displays, happy to have saved what he could. We stay here, all get smashed, then must go. Thor takes a step toward the battlefield, but pauses for a moment. And Spider-Thing, we must be friends and brothers, and never let that Diplodocus make us fight. Yes, not have face smashed with hammer. Would like that. Thor rests his hand on Spidey's shoulder as they look to the streets of DC, where Red Hulks are causing chaos. What now? Smash? Thor smiles at his friend and brother. Yes, smash! The two leap into the fray, taking down the city of Hulks as a team.